Welcome back to Freeman, and when we left off, we took one of the Atov Federation's towns, and obviously Zashkiv is right here, Zashkiv is right here, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to try and spread out, and maybe even try to cut off any kind of retreat that the Atov Federation might want to make at some point. In other words, maybe we should take Litvin next. I feel like that maybe is a little bit less painful than taking Antipil, and I'm talking about a lot less painful. Yes, a lot less painful. So yeah, we do have our general running around here. She's doing a fantastic job so far. Unfortunately, Zashkiv doesn't have anything in the garrison here. I'm actually not entirely sure why there isn't. I thought that I actually put some people in here before I quit last time, but maybe that did not get saved or something. But, well, doesn't really matter because it is a simple job. And I'm actually just going to show you because I don't think I've actually shown you this before. So you basically just go auto group up, auto equip, and then reward, and then that's it. There you go. Easy. New squad in the garrison right there. Really nice. And, oh yeah, I did have to go back just a second ago to Lipno to try and defend it because it was being attacked by some mountain bandits, as is always the case nowadays. Kind of unfortunate. What else do we have going on here? Well, we've got a terrorist camp. I don't really want to attack this, but I feel like I have to because it is just necessary to eliminate these things when and where you see them. Because if you just leave them, then they're going to continually attack your stuff. And that is definitely something that we don't want to have happen. So I'm basically just going to tell all our guys because they are literally the kind of... They're not particularly dangerous, the enemy. So we're just going to tell them to go in here and we'll see what we can do with them. And you know what? I feel like I should really mention that the developers recently, I believe it was yesterday, they have been asking people what one feature would you want to see in Freeman itself. And they posted this on their Twitter, they posted this on the Steam update blog page sort of thing. And if you would like to, put in your 2 cents, I don't know whether they're going to watch this video. They probably will. They might. I don't know. But if you'd like to, then obviously, I'm going to say to you, maybe you want to put what you want to see in Freeman down in the comment section of this video, or you can go to their Twitter, at Freeman the Game, I believe it is. And you can also go into Steam and you can do it from there as well if you so desire. But yeah, I think it could be a pretty interesting exercise because obviously I have my own wishes and a lot of people want... That's the thing. They are saying that vehicles are not going to happen just yet. And in my opinion, I completely respect that because in my opinion, vehicles are very difficult to balance. I feel like the game is in a really nice position at the moment. I feel like, yeah, okay, some of the enemies can kill you very quickly and, all that stuff. Basically, what it is it's realistic, I mean, obviously some of the things that happen are not particularly realistic, like, for example, an AI hiding in the bushes and a human would not be able to see out of those bushes, but because it's AI, it would be able to do that. So obviously that's a bit of an issue, but personally, I don't think that's something that completely destroys the game. I feel like the fact that they've done some work and some balancing on the lower tier units actually does make a huge difference to how effective they are in battles. Whoa, did I just almost die? Yes, I think I almost died because there was a grenade that went off just there. But anyway, the point is that what I'm trying to say is that I think the developers have done a fantastic job with the balancing of the lower tier units because obviously that was a bit of an issue. Looters and terrorists and all these lower tier guys could basically kill you from a very large distance away, and it would be very difficult to have any kind of counterplay against them. But obviously they've seen that, they've seen that people are having difficulties with that. They've seen maybe me having difficulties with that kind of stuff. and they have acted accordingly, which is fantastic. That's exactly what a developer should do, you know. They should listen to their community, see if it's right for their game and the sense of their game, you know, the sense of fun and difficulty inside it, and then, you know, act accordingly, whatever they want to do. And I think that's great. You know, I think they've done a really, really fantastic job so far with the balancing, because I haven't really found that the balancing is too bad now. Although, obviously, it really depends. Like, sometimes, you know, sometimes you're just going to get killed by something, and it's going to be awful. But, you know, if that happens, then that happens. I've actually just come back here because I want to buy some fish. But unfortunately, I won't be able to sell this heavy tactical vest. Actually, do I even want to sell it? Maybe I should give it to one of my people. I think that would make sense. Let's auto-equip some people. There we go. Yes, that sounds like a good plan to me. Alright, yeah. Anyway, so as I was saying, they are asking for suggestions, not vehicles, but anything but vehicles. They are willing to listen to anyone and see what people are in favor of. And personally, if I'm going to make a suggestion, maybe I'll come up with a couple of suggestions in this particular video, but for me, my current wish is... what is it? I don't know. What is it? What do we want? What do we want the most of? I'm not going to say destructible environments or anything like that. That's going to be extremely difficult to implement, in my opinion at least. And I don't know whether it's even necessary, considering there's not too many built-up areas anyway. And that maybe that's a thing that we should really talk about. I'm talking about urban environments. And maybe... I don't know whether they can do indoors. I don't know whether the AI is going to be able to deal with indoors. But anyway, point is, maybe something like a more built-up area, urban environment kind of place. Because obviously we do have that, kind of. I mean, we have buildings, but they're in the middle of nowhere. You know, they're in the middle of, you know, the plains or forest or desert or, you know, whatever the case may be. And I'm thinking maybe something a little bit more built up than this. So a bunch of buildings and things like that. Obviously, there could be, you know what? Thinking about that has kind of made me think, well, why do they don't really need to concentrate on combat any further, not in the near future at least. So maybe what would make sense, instead of concentrating on combat, because I personally feel like the combat is really, really enjoyable as it is, and instead of focusing on that, what they could do is they could add additional options for taking towns. And I think I actually saw a suggestion on the Twitter post, and the suggestion was something like that, where basically it was just giving us additional diplomacy suggestions. And I think that that's a really, really good idea, because being able to deal with a particular town in a less direct way, I think is actually pretty cool. And I would like to be able to see things like that as well. For example, you know, in Man of Blade and things, like not in native, right? Not in native, because native is kind of a bit one-dimensional in the way that you do sieges. But I'm talking about mods here. Some of the mods, they give you the ability to choose what you do. So basically, you know, World of Ice and Fire and yeah, well, Britain Walder is obviously the originator of all that stuff, where you can basically starve out your opponent. And I think that's what one person said on the Twitter post. Just basically having alternate options to be able to take towns. So I guess that's going to be my suggestion, because even though having built up areas and different environments to fight in and all that sort of thing is cool, I think having maybe a deeper strategical level and maybe layer as well would be a pretty cool way to go, because having a different way of fighting, because obviously this is guerrilla warfare, you know, it is supposed to be subversive, you know, it's supposed to be covert, and you're not always going to want to, you know, go into a battle and try to win that battle with sheer brute force or skill or whatever. Sometimes you will, of course, because you'd want to get experience and things like that. But most of the time, you would probably... Ow, as I get shot. for a massive amount of damage. But most of the time, you'd probably want to try and avoid conflict as much as possible. Obviously, you don't have to. You know, you could very easily just go and attack anyone you want. But having the option is a really cool idea in the background. And so I'm going to suggest something like alternate diplomatic options. Maybe the ability to force enemies to surrender if they only have a certain amount of troops in the garrison. Or maybe a way to maybe reduce the amount of defenders in a particular garrison as well. So basically having a way to take out some defenders, maybe like a diversion of some kind, maybe something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but basically just implementing a thing that you can do to take a town without combat. That's basically my suggestion. I think that could work quite nicely actually, but obviously I don't know what specifically to go with. I'm getting hit on the head here. It's really painful. Yes, very painful indeed. Alright, well, I've used almost all of my medkits now, which is obviously not great. Hello. Oh wow, that's a lot of damage. We're taking them out though. Oh. Okay, gotta be a bit careful here. Gotta be a bit careful. I still have a good amount of... Oh, am I being shot at? I think I was for a second there. Gonna switch to my assault rifle now because they are getting much closer. What? What was that? Hello? Ah, I see. They're using grenades against us and all that stuff. Fantastic. Alright, well, I actually think that we've got this. I actually think that we have this, no problem at all. We did actually suffer a couple of casualties. Seems like Mojave has lost one of their squad members, which is obviously not too good, but what can you do about it? You know, you can't really do much about it right now. And let's see if I can maybe take out that guy. Oh yeah, by the way, with my level up, I also spec'd into additional marksmanship. So I'm basically going to aim for 15 marksmanship because obviously most of the time you are going to be using your weapon. And, well, it would be pretty good to be accurate with it, wouldn't it? So yeah, using, you know, utilizing that and getting to 15 marksmanship is going to be really useful. Well, we were able to liberate that territory, and, well, we actually did it by taking the last remaining flag, which is actually kind of strange, because I really thought that we were going to eliminate the last of the enemy, but that doesn't seem to have happened. Anyway, we did gain 125,000 credits, which is just insane. 38,000 experience gain to go along with that. Now, amusingly enough, it feels to me like none of my units, or not many of my units, can actually level up any further anyway, so it's not really necessary for me to really worry too much about the experience gain any further. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take a couple of pieces of loot here just so that I can basically auto-equip and see whether anyone actually needs anything, because I think some of my newer squads might actually benefit from that. Maybe? I'm going to just see real quick. That guy can definitely benefit from it. Let's just put someone else in there. Let's just level him up a little bit as well. There we go. And we're going to need to do something about one of our other squads as well, because I think they're missing a member. Got to keep them maxed out, I guess. And there we go. All right, that guy's doing well. He's got a new helmet and everything. And these guys lost someone. Whoa, Atacama lost a whole bunch of people. That is not very good. But that's okay, because in general, we took the town, and I think that's basically all that matters right now. Anyway, let's see what happens to Litvin here. Okay, so I'm going to do automatic tax collection. And let's collect the tax anyway, as it is. And is there anything in the storage here? No, there's nothing in the storage, but I could go to the merchant, sell a couple of things. We'll sell these rifles, because they don't seem to be... No one seems to be buying them. And we'll see if I can unload a bunch of other stuff here. There's just so many good pieces of loot, and you just really can't get anything else, basically. You know, you can try, but It's just crazy. I think I might actually buy some grenade launchers. Let's buy some grenade launchers. Why not? Unfortunately, I can't do anything else. That is terrible. Okay, so this is using 7.62. I already have a whole bunch of ammo and med kits and all kinds of crazy things. So I guess I'm just going to pay that and then just leave because there's not really much else I can do. There is actually someone here though, probably. Yes, hello. Ah, Volodymyr. Hello there. Yeah, join me. Join me. Thank you very much. Yes. This guy's going to be really good, I think. I think he's going to be really good. Or maybe not, because it seems like the enemy generals that you can capture are really, really fantastic. And the ones that you get from the towns are maybe not so good. But it really depends, I suppose. Let's go to the barracks. Okay, there's a whole bunch here. Okay, I have so much money that we're just going to buy everyone here. And we're going to go over to our party screen and we're going to just make a new squad real quick. And obviously I don't want to put him in there, so we're just going to put these randoms in here. Or to equip them with some stuff. And we'll get another squad, auto group up, there we go, and then they're going to get automatically equipped. Okay, fantastic. That is really, really good. So that's basically what I do to get my people all kitted out to go into a garrison. Hopefully that's going to deter some of the, well, lesser parties in the area. That would be quite nice. Let's increase our security a little bit as well, just to maybe prevent people from being too audacious and attempting to besiege our newly conquered stronghold. Now there is a black market that has appeared somewhere, but it seems to be quite far away from my current location, so obviously I won't be doing anything with that. But we could go over here and sell our prisoners, which I think we're probably going to do. Actually, that Posner Sniper Elite, I would like to get that guy. So I'm going to sell everyone else, apart from the Federal Special Forces as well. Look at that. Level 11. This Posner Sniper Elite is level 1 and has 9,000 as a cost to sell. That is so insane. Being able to get 9,000 from that. Wow. Okay. That is very, very impressive. Okay, so Atacama is missing a leader. Let's give this guy over there. And then we will go to our prisoners and we will try to propaganda. Yes. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, so that's really nice. Now what we can do is we can place this guy in here. And we actually finally get a chance to take a look at this guy's stats, because we actually haven't seen the Federal Special Forces stats ever before, so I think that's pretty cool. We don't have a helmet for him, apparently. I don't know why I don't have a helmet for him. I would have thought that I would have one, but apparently not. And then, of course, we can take a look at the Posner Sniper Elite. This guy is the most lightly armored person in the history of anything, because he has literally, what? I don't know, 7 armor, 5, 6 armor, and that's it. And wow, he's really good in a desert environment, as you can see right there. He's really good in desert, but not much else anywhere else. So he's got smoke grenades, night vision goggles. I'm going to give him a medkit as well, and I'm actually going to give some other people medkits too. I don't think my companions actually need medkits, but I'm going to do it anyway, just to make sure that they don't die. I mean, so that they can restore themselves a little bit quicker, maybe. I actually don't know whether that has any effect. But I'm going to give this guy a grenade launcher as well. And this guy a medkit. Everyone else is using a medkit, that's fine. Okay, so these guys actually... Do they have medkits? Does this guy have a medkit? No, he doesn't have a medkit. Alright, well, we're going to do something about that then. Oh, wow. Yeah, all these guys are all level 15 as well. We probably want to make sure that these guys stay alive, don't we? So it will also clear out a whole bunch of inventory space, which is really nice. This gangster, I'm not entirely sure how he's still alive, but good on him, I suppose. And we'll just continue equipping our guys here. There we go. All right, that seems really good. Okay, that seems actually much better than good, because that means that now I don't have so much stuff in my inventory, and I can actually do some things with my ammo here as well. Oh, and I also need medkits. Isn't that ironic? Every single time I'm like, yeah, let me just give a whole bunch of medkits to my guys. Every single time I'm like, oh, but I also need some. Yes, isn't that great? Very good. Okay, so as you can no doubt tell, I'm actually leveling up my machine gun skill, because I would like to be able to utilize one of those big guns and see how fun that actually is to use. I think I can actually use a PKM. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to be using a PKM. So I think I will buy it. I think I'm just going to buy it right up. Right up. And we can actually sell a bunch of stuff here as well, it seems. There we go. All right. So instead of the AKM, I'm actually going to use the PKM now. I hope that I'll be able to use the red dot sight with it, and we'll see how it goes. I think it could be pretty fun. Alright, so here we are. This is the next siege of an Atov Federation stronghold, and we're going to see how we do. I think I'm actually in a pretty decent position here because I'm actually not particularly pleased about doing this in daytime, but yeah, I guess it's going to be okay. But I think I'm in a pretty decent position because, as you can see, I've basically placed my units to go over here, where we're just going to spread them out a little bit as well, just to make sure they don't get all murdered, even though this spreading out is not particularly sophisticated in any way, shape or form, but, you know, it's me. I generally don't like the whole fancy tactics kind of thing, because in general, I feel like going straight towards an opponent is going to get them killed much quicker, because, let's face it, we have a sheer, overwhelming power, and I think that's probably more valuable than, you know, doing some fancy tactics that are probably going to get most of my units killed in most situations. But who knows. Anyway, I'm just going to try and do some damage here. Ooh, that was a nice shot. Or maybe not. That apparently wasn't such a nice shot because I got myself killed. Isn't that fantastic? Yes, that is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Anyway, we're going to do something a little bit different here this time, because obviously we are actually in a different place, which I think is fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're literally going to move everyone onto that one flag, and then we're going to spread out from that flag and go to the other two flags. So we're just going to split our forces in half once we have conquered that one area, and then we'll move on. And I think that's going to be a really shocking thing for the enemy to face. So we're also going to charge our units in as well, because this is something I've never done against a, well, highly skilled enemy, shall we say. I've basically always done that against terrorists or pirates or, you know, even looters. But against the Atov Federation, that is a pretty ballsy move. It's not going to be, maybe it's going to be awful, you know, maybe it's actually going to cause me to lose a lot of people, but I have a pretty decent amount of faith in my units, but obviously I don't have that much faith in myself and staying alive, because as you can see, I've just gotten shot again for such an insane amount of HP, and I didn't even see the enemy, which is generally how it's going to happen. I can't afford to get hit again, so I'm going to have to be a bit careful here. Why are these guys all the way back here, by the way? Are they stuck? They seem to be stuck to me, so I'm actually just going to deploy the others, and we'll see what we can do. Well, I kind of got myself into a bit of a sticky situation in the previous cut, and basically, we ended up losing a lot of units. Yeah, isn't that always the way? That is always the way. I'm sure many of you right now are saying, well, that's what you get for charging straight on in, and I will say to you, yes, it is. That is exactly what I deserve for that. But anyway, let's see if we can get some kills with our sniper rifle from this distance. We are actually doing pretty well in terms of accuracy so far, and I really don't want to get killed here if at all possible, so I'm just gonna... Okay, apparently I'm gonna get murdered. Apparently I'm gonna get absolutely murdered, and from so far away. From so far away as well. Very impressive for the opponent to be able to do that so incredibly easily. So basically what I did was, in the well, in this one, I'm basically making it so that we can do a bit of a flanking maneuver right here. Because we're going to go back to using a couple of tactics, even though I think that personally, I don't really need to. But maybe that is just required for the Atoll Federation. They were insulted. Let's just say that they were insulted that I didn't use tactics. And so they wanted to make me pay pretty hardcore for not using them. So instead, this time around, we're going to actually use tactics and we're going to see how we do. So let's get everyone in there. I'm going to heal myself, obviously, because we really badly need to. And I'm going to activate night vision. Night vision enabled, and we're going to see if we can maybe do something with these forces over here. Now, I don't know whether you've noticed, but I'm basically sending in particular squads to different flags. I mean, obviously, I've been doing that for a while now, because I personally feel like taking the flags is the most efficient way of taking a particular town. And that actually harks back to me talking about alternate methods to capture towns without really fighting, but I think in general the thing to do with that is something like sabotage, maybe, you know? I'm just brainstorming here. I'm not really, you know, it's just a suggestion. It's not like a super hardcore request or whatever, but the point is that maybe something like sabotage, maybe something like, I don't know, destroying the enemy's supply lines, which I suppose could also be counted as sabotage. And going from there, basically, just making it so that it is possible to maybe a morale system, you know? Maybe a morale system would actually make sense, because if you think about it, that might, yeah, that might actually be pretty interesting, because maybe having, I don't know how easy that is going to be to implement, because I don't know anything about coding, but anyway. The point is that the suggestion that I'm going to make now, apart from the whole, you know, intricacy, making you know, siege warfare a little bit more tactical, a little bit more strategic, apart from that, maybe a morale system which is not in the game. I mean, like, not in combat, shall we say. And so as a result, you know, I know that right now, squads, ouch, I think I might actually die here. Yes, I did. So anyway, as I was saying, basically the morale system that I'm suggesting is that each town has a particular value associated with it. Let's say it goes from 0 to 100 or whatever, maybe 1 to 100 or something. And the higher the morale in a particular town, then, well, I guess you could call it happiness. Maybe you could call it happiness or something along those lines. But anyway, point is that the higher the value, the more, or should we say, the less likely you're going to be able to either persuade or utilize some kind of negotiation or intimidation or something along those lines to be able to capture a town without any combat. So, for example, what you could do, which I'm thinking about after I kill this guy. Oh, never mind, he was killed anyway. Alright, so, yes, please don't... Ah, are you serious? Wow. Okay, yeah. These guys are seemingly very, very tricky to take out. Because, let's face it, you've seen me in the previous couple of episodes. They haven't really been that dangerous, have they? They haven't been that dangerous at all. But in this one, they're being very dangerous indeed. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but I don't really mind, because it gives me an opportunity to talk about the morale thing that I'm going to suggest. Anyway, so let's say you start a siege. So obviously you've got the option, you know, you can either sneak in or you can siege. And maybe after you sneak in successfully to a hostile town, maybe then it gives you additional options. And I'm talking about things like, I don't know, maybe you sneak in and you go to the bar, or you go to the command center, or whatever the case may be, and you try to sow the seeds of discord, if you know what I mean. So you basically try to say, you know, you try to propaganda them, I suppose. You could try to propaganda them a little bit. You could try to maybe persuade some of the enemy soldiers to stand down, or to join you, or something along those lines. You know, basically just giving you more flexibility in what you're able to do with the enemy forces without actually shooting at them. You know what I mean? So basically something like that would be pretty fun to see, I think. But obviously that is very much dependent on how easy or how doable it is in terms of implementation. Because I think people tend to forget, you know, I think gamers, players, you know, whatever you want to say, whoa, did I just almost get shot to death again? Yes, I think I did. As you could see right there, I took 2 bullets to the face and basically almost died instantly. Anyway, I think gamers, players, whatever you want to say, do tend to forget that game development, especially with a small indie team, it's going to take a while. You know, it takes a while, and I feel like the Freeman devs have done such a fantastic job of being quick. I mean, they're actually quick with their work. They're quick with the updates. They're quick with all kinds of things, and it really shows how dedicated they are to the game. And I think that is a pretty fantastic thing. And I think actually, you know what? I think they're them asking for suggestions for, you know, one last feature that you'd like to see added. I think basically, you know what that is? I think I know what that is. That is probably the last feature that they want to add before they go into the next version. So like version 1.0 or something like that. So the next massive update. And I obviously, I don't have any inside information. This is just speculation on my part, so obviously don't quote me on that. But the point is that I think that is really cool, because if they implement something that is massive and fundamentally changes the gameplay in such a drastic way, I'm going to be very excited about that indeed, because I've been loving Freeman. I've literally been loving Freeman so much since the really big update, and it has just made the game all that much more enjoyable. And I feel like the devs are just continuing to add things that I really like, whether that's the smallest quality of life improvement or adding a whole new gameplay element. It's fantastic. You know, it's really good. And maybe that's just me, but I think it's really enjoyable. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and do some damage to these federal infantry. There we go. I got to be a bit careful here as well, because I really do not want to die again, because I've died so many times that I would be very much appreciating not dying this time, if at all possible. There's only 16 enemies remaining, so I shouldn't really have to worry too much. Oh, I've just advanced in level. Very nice indeed. Okay, so we are now level 32. And I think my forces are doing much better this time around, because we have kind of moved them into a slightly different formation, because beforehand we would basically split them. So we'd basically put this group all coming down one side, and this group all coming down another side. That's really not the best idea, in my opinion at least, because then if the smaller party of 4 squads or so encounters enemies that are literally, I don't know, overwhelming in number, let's say they encounter, I don't know, 20 machine gunners, or, you know, 10 machine gunners and 20 sharpshooters or something along those lines, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. It's going to be really bad. But if you put them kind of close to each other so that they're working together in unison and have that synergy together, then it's obviously going to make things much easier and a little bit less stressful as well. Obviously, you do want to proceed with caution. You don't want to be like me and use the charge function, which actually ended up getting many of my people killed, which was very disappointing indeed, but not much I could do about that apart from, you know, retreating. Anyway, there's 82,000 credits, 22,000 experience, and we got some combat helmets and other things that we can, of course, automatically equip, or at least I hope we can. And then we'll see what we can do with that. Alright, so we've also taken that, which is really awesome too. And let's go down here. Yeah, Trifor is my new squad. Basically, I'm naming them after desserts now, because desserts, I thought that was amusing, so that's what we're going with, at least for the moment. Maybe if I see anything else that I think is really cool, or funny, then I'll do that. But otherwise, let's see if I can... I'm going to need to replenish my forces. That's basically what I need to do now. Just need to replenish my forces. So what I will do, now that we have Lubni, is basically I'll just get some people in the garrison there relatively quickly. And as you can see, there's only 2 towns that the Atov Federation have under their control, which is just insane. How easily we were able to sweep over Zashkiv and not Litvin. Litvin was a little bit too difficult for a clean sweep. But anyway, that will be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.